Hello everyone, I'm here to do a 3-month post-op stage 1 phalloplasty update. So my 3 months would have been April 15th. It is now the 18th, I believe, so a few days later. I guess we'll start off with my arm. I am now wearing the compression sleeve. This is, the place that I got the sleeve from only has the sleeves that goes up to like mid upper arm, I guess, so I had a prescription from the surgeon saying to get a compression sleeve with a particular number of compression, which is 20 mmHg. I don't know what that means. But most sleeves, from what I can tell, are made in either 15 to 20 mmHg and then 20 to 30, 30 to 40, etc. So I was recommended by the person, like the pharmacy that I went and got the sleeve from, that you never go over the prescription amount. So because it was listed at 20 mmHg, we went for the 15 to 20 as opposed to the 20 to 30. Also, the higher ones are much more expensive. So this sleeve cost me $75. I will get reimbursed by my health insurance as far as I know. But yeah, it was $75 versus the other sleeves. I think were going to be significantly more expensive because the compression was higher. My hand swelled up significantly when I first started wearing the sleeve. I started wearing it a couple weeks ago now. I was a bit unclear as to when I was supposed to start wearing the sleeve versus wrapping it with the ace bandage and the gauze, because it just wasn't clear to me. They mentioned to me when I was in the hospital, like in the care home, saying like, oh, when the wounds heal up. But then talking to other people, they're like, oh, it took 3 months. Oh, it took, 4 months before I was able to wear the sleeve and everything. So I was assuming I'd have to wrap my arm for a lot longer than I did. Whereas when I did contact Montreal and I said, this is what my arm looks like now, like, when do I start wearing the sleeve? And they're like, oh, you can do it 6 weeks later. Like, you can do it like you're past the 6-week mark, so you can wear the sleeve now. And I was like, 6 weeks is a lot different than the like 2, 3 months, 3, 4, whatever months that I was told by other people that they had been wrapping their arm. Anyway, I think that basically the bottom line is you can't have any open wounds on your arm. Once the wounds are all closed, the scabbing is gone, then you can wear the sleeve, is my understanding at this point. So technically I could have started wearing the sleeve probably several weeks earlier. And that would have saved me money in gauze and stuff like that, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I had already bought the supplies, so it is what it is. But yeah, my hand swelled up immediately because this type of sleeve from the company that I got it from does not offer the hand portion of it for the compression type that I got. So I knew it was going to be an issue because my hand was already sort of slightly swollen before I started wearing the sleeve. I knew that like circulation issue was going to arise, and it did. So I'm supposed to wear the sleeve 24 hours a day except in the shower. I wear the sleeve after I shower. I put it on, and then I take it off before I go to bed. I can't wear it to bed. I tried. It's so painful. My hand swells up so badly, and it just, the motion, I sleep kind of curled up, and the motion of having this like this all night is very painful. Because of the compression over my elbow area as well. It's just, it hurts too much. So I don't leave it on at night, and that's just me listening to my body. And I know the prescription says one thing, but I know my body better than anybody else, and I've decided that sleeping in it is not a good idea. I also haven't been wearing it on weekends. So if I'm not leaving the house on the weekend, I work Monday to Friday. If I'm not leaving the house on the weekend, I don't put it on. Because I just want to give my hand a break and my arm a break to breathe. If I'm going out somewhere on the weekend, I absolutely will put it on, but I just haven't been wearing it at night or on the weekends for the past couple weeks since I started wearing it, because again, I'm just listening to my body and doing what's right for me in this moment. Anyway, since I have to wear it for a year, the pharmacy recommended I'm going to need at least 2, potentially 3 or 4, depending on how well I take care of this one, or just take care of them in general. So I will have to buy at least another one because it just won't last a year of wearing it on a daily basis. Other than that, I'm used to it now. My hand is still swollen when I wear it, but it is nowhere near as swollen as it was the first few days that I was wearing it. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with the arm. It's hopefully in a future video I'll show you like an update, but I don't want to take the sleeve off. It's too much of a hassle to take it off and show you what my scar looks like right now. So in a future video, if I'm not wearing the sleeve, I can show you what my arm looks like as an update. But yeah, my thigh is looking pretty good. The scar is receding. I'm going to see if I can stand up here and show you. Excellent. Okay. You can see that the scar used to go out all the way to here, but it is slowly receded this way. It's also receding in the middle, and it has receded. You can see where it started over here. It went down that line there. It's receded there. So the scar is looking good. I'm, excuse me, still putting vitamin E cream on it every day. I put that on after my shower in the morning. I put it on before bed, and if it bothers me throughout the day, I put it on another time midday when I get home from work or right before I'm leaving for work or whatever. But yeah, usually twice a day, 3 times if it's really bothering me, but it hasn't been bothering me as much lately. So that's where I'm at with that. I have actually been massaging my arm scar a bit. When the sleeve is off, I've been going over like the edge pieces. You can see actually how tight, maybe the camera won't show it. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit, like that's where the scar is. In person, it's much more prominent. Oh, you see it there. There's the scar. So the sleeve is tight enough that it really does outline where the scar is. So just a heads up, if you do happen to get the same sleeve as me, that if you're wearing a t-shirt or whatever, like it does very clearly kind of outline where that scar is, and it does look really strange because of how tight it is. Your wrist is very small. All of these things. I don't personally care if other people ask questions or see it or whatever. It's going to happen eventually, so I don't really care. But just for a self-conscious kind of thing, if you're concerned, like it is pretty tight, and it does kind of accentuate how tiny your arm is now. As far as emotionally, I'm doing really well. I've started to, past few weeks, really, really, really love my new penis. I was still like in a lot of the healing phase, happy with it, but it was still healing and all of these things. And it is still healing at this point. I still have zero feeling at all of tactile or erogenous sensation in the phallus. There's no feeling whatsoever. But just physically, like walking around naked or feeling it on my leg when I'm sleeping, if I turn over and it kind of like flops to one side, like all of these little things I'm starting to really, really appreciate and be really happy about. And I'm starting to get like a rush out of the experience now, as opposed to still that like kind of, not necessarily, I wouldn't go as far as to say post-op depression, because that wasn't what I was feeling during like after I got home kind of thing, but it was just still all so sensitive and like, I don't really know how to explain it, but recently I've really started to notice and appreciate its existence, and like feeling it in my pants when I'm walking. I can feel the bulge, I can see the bulge. Like it's just, I really, really love it now, and it's nice to feel that about my body, and especially about my genitals, when obviously in the past that had never really been a thing. So it's just that kind of new euphoria of like, this is what I've always wanted. And it's not complete yet, but it looks good, it feels good, like having the bulge in my pants and just its existence. I'm happy that it exists. I did have a few questions from in my comment section on some other videos. So what am I looking at? Oh, sorry. So one of the questions was, do I sit or walk differently now that I have a phallus? Yes, you have to sit with your legs apart more. I used to be someone, I always have my legs crossed, like when I'm sitting in a chair, or I would have like my thighs kind of together because I like to be like squished. I can't do that anymore. My thighs just completely squish the phallus, and it's not comfortable. So I do have to sit a little bit spread out. And on the toilet, this is the biggest change. On the toilet, I have to pull my pants and my underwear all the way to my ankles. I can't, before when I'd sit on the toilet, my thighs would be together. I could have my pants still up, like around my knees, and that was fine. Now I can't do that because of how far I have to spread my legs out when I'm sitting on the toilet so that my phallus doesn't like get places it's not supposed to. And so that the pee where it's coming out of my scrotum area doesn't get trapped, it actually can go. My legs have to be spread out far enough apart that it just my pants and my underwear don't allow for that stretching, so I have to push them all the way to my ankles. Which now, when you watch movies and you see like men in the bathroom stalls underneath their pants or at their ankles, I'm like, why would you ever pull your pants down that far? There's a reason, and now I know the reason. It's because your penis gets in the way. And it would have to be the same anyway after I have stage 2 and I'm peeing out of the phallus. The phallus would have to be into the toilet if I'm taking a shit at the same time, which if your thighs are together, it doesn't allow for that motion. So that's the biggest change for me, is how I sit on the toilet. And then walking, not really. I don't think I've changed how I walk because I walked really strangely before anyway. I don't think I changed how I walk, but I think that there is potential for that, because if you're not used to walking with something in your pants, like if you're not used to packing, then yeah, you're definitely going to need to adjust how you walk. I do a lot more of the adjusting kind of like squirmy motion of like my underwear is riding up and now I got a wedgie and I need to like unwedgie my genital area. But yeah, I don't think I walk that much differently. And then the next question was, do I know the cost of surgery? I had it covered by OHIP, but do I know what the cost would have been if I didn't have it covered? The answer is no. They don't, Montreal doesn't tell you, like if you have it covered. I didn't ask because I wasn't going to pay for it. So I didn't ask, and they don't tell you. There's nothing that says what the cost would have been, what was billed to OHIP or anything like that. Yeah, I'm assuming like, I would think hundreds of thousands, honestly, or close to 100,000, if not over that. I don't know. I was talking to a girl who was having the facial feminization surgery there, and it was going to cost her like 30,000 or something like that, for just the facial feminization surgery. And so my, equating that to like that surgery versus phalloplasty, which is like a 6 to 8 hour surgery, the amount of hospital time, I think it's like 10 nights in total or something between the hospital and the care home. I think the hospital is like $1,000 a night or something is what she had said to me. And this is just me speculating based on what one trans woman told me about her facial feminization surgery quote. But I have no idea the phalloplasty cost in Montreal. I have zero clue. I can only imagine it is very, very high, and that I am so blessed that I was able to have it covered, because it is very obvious to me that it is a figure of money that I will never see in my life. So yeah, I don't know the exact cost or anything really associated with it. The next question is, which surgeon did I have surgery with? And the answer is Dr. Belanger. The clinic is Dr. Broussard's clinic. He oversees all the surgeries in the sense of like he's the one who goes through everybody's files and determines whether or not they're approved for surgery and things like that. But Dr. Belanger, as far as I know at this time, is the only one performing phalloplasty. Dr. Broussard, as far as I know, does not perform phalloplasty anymore. He only does some of the other types of surgery. I know he does the vaginoplasty or whatever it's called for trans women. I don't know what other surgeries he does, but basically phalloplasty is done by Dr. Belanger and Dr. Ben Simon. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong because it's two surgical teams doing phalloplasty. So yeah, Dr. Belanger is the head surgeon for phalloplasty, like in the operating room, and then Dr. Ben Simon is also on the surgery team. So yeah, as far as I know, Dr. Broussard does not do phalloplasty anymore. He just kind of oversees the files and everything like that in terms of phalloplasty. And then from there, based on my experience, do I recommend the surgeon I had? Yes. For For me, Montreal was the only option. I wasn't going to go to the States or any other country to do it. Ontario does offer the option of having it covered other places. However, my understanding of that is that you need to provide a valid reason why the surgeon in Montreal is not able to meet your needs, and why you need to go over the border or overseas to have surgery done. And for me, the way that Montreal does phalloplasty is exactly aligned with how I wanted it done, and therefore there was no reason for me why they were not going to fit with my needs. I also really appreciated the standard of care there. I appreciated the care home and all of that stuff. Doing my research, I just went, you know what, this is exactly what I need, and it's close enough to me that it would be ridiculous for me to go to the States or to go somewhere else where I'd be paying much, much more for travel costs and all that kind of stuff, when Montreal provides a perfectly good service that I was happy with at this point. Post-op, I'm happy with the service. I'm happy with my results. Yeah, I would absolutely recommend it, especially if you're in Canada and you don't want to go to the States or another country, or you can't. Totally happy with the service I received in Montreal, personally. And then when do I go for stage 2? I don't know. In doing research on other people who had surgery about a year ago, some of them are still waiting for stage 2. So I'm thinking about a year. The thing is with stage 2, which for me, stage 2 will be the urethral lengthening. Some people opt out of that stage and go for the implants, and decide not to do the urethral lengthening. But for me, that's going to be my stage 2. You have to have hair removal done on your genital area, depending on where they put your urethra, which for me, they put it in between, like in the scrotum area. I have to have hair removal there. So that when they like sew it all up and move things around, there's no hair that's going to get into the urethra. I don't really know the details. All I know is that you cannot have stage 2, the urethral lengthening, without doing the hair removal. So basically, I have to do the hair removal, and then I have to have 2 months of no hair regrowth in the area they want me to remove the hair, and I need to contact Montreal once I've hit that 2-month mark, send the pictures, let them know when the last appointment was that I had hair removal. This is what it looks like now. 2 months later, there's no hair. Great, now we can schedule a date. But as far as I can see, people are like a year out from their first stage and they still have not had stage 2. So I'm not expecting it anytime soon. At this point, I am not looking to jump into another surgery. I'm really tired from the last one. I'm really overwhelmed and exhausted. I have other life stuff going on with work and with everything else that I am not, in a place in this moment to be like, yes, I want stage 2 as soon as possible. I'm still exploring the results of stage 1. And I'm totally happy if it is a year or a year and a half or whatever it is. At this point, maybe next week, maybe a few months from now, I'll be desperate for stage 2. I don't know. But at this point, I'm still recuperating from the first one, that I'm not ready to jump into the second one. And I got to start hair removal like ASAP, because I'm now 3 months post-op. My wounds are closed. I'm supposed to start hair removal. I just haven't made the appointment yet. I'm just tired of pain, honestly. I'm really exhausted, and signing up and paying for more pain just doesn't seem fun. And I know that I'll regret it if I put it off too long, because then it just pushes stage 2 back farther and farther. But yeah, I need to make that call, and I need to just go and get it started. But that's kind of where I'm at, and I think that was all the questions that I had seen. If you have any more questions about phalloplasty, my experience with it, please let me know. Yeah, I think that's everything. I'm feeling good emotionally. I'm still healing physically. The only thing else is that like I said, I have no tactile or erogenous sensation in the phallus at all, which I know takes time, but it is very scary to not have feeling, because the only thing running through my mind all the time is, what if I never have feeling there? What if it doesn't come back? What if the nerves don't reconnect? What if something went wrong and you know, because it's supposed to be numb for a while, but I know from watching some other people's videos that some people do get sort of little pings and whatever by 3 months, and you know, it takes a long time for full feeling to come back. But like, I have nothing. There's zero pings. There's zero twinges of any kind of feeling at all, and it is pretty scary to have that. You know, I'm still conscious of the fact that it takes a long time for nerves to regrow, but there's always that feeling in the back of your mind of like, maybe they never will. So that is frightening. But I'm trying to just appreciate the moment and focus on other parts of my life. And you know, if the nerves don't reconnect for whatever reason, if things didn't go to plan and my body didn't heal properly, then I guess I have to deal with that when the time comes. But at this point, I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen. And that could be months and months of waiting to see if and when feeling does come back. So yeah, thank you for watching. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. See ya.